Hello, West Ham Network. It's Holly and I'm here with your Hammers headlines for today, Tuesday, the 25th of July. These are, of course, run in association with the brilliant KUMB.com. We are still to make a signing this transfer window, but apparently Borges is expected to join this week, with the deal being agreed in principle, according to Darmesh. So it would be incredible to please get that over the line and have one less thing to focus on and hopefully kickstart this transfer window at long last. But what are the latest updates? It's all been surrounding inquiries into 4 players in the last 24 hours. So let's take a look at what has been happening at West Ham United. So today's first story is around which midfielder or midfielders we are likely to sign. We have made multiple approaches for Gallagher, McTominay and Edson Alvarez, showing that we are in fact taking the scattergun approach, the tried and trusted technique. So these are being referred to as verbal offers, which are essentially discussions that clearly state the price that we're willing to pay, despite being less formal than a contract. The good thing about this is it's going to help us gauge how low clubs may be willing to go with their prices, and it doesn't take as long as an official offer to actually put together. The downside, obviously, is that it has us hoping that a lot of work is going on behind the scenes to hurry up these deals and formalise whatever is the actual preferred offer. Because the problem is, obviously, this is a long way from actually agreeing terms. So hopefully it will give us a bit of a head start, but it does feel as though we actually need to get acting very quickly now. Each of those names offers something positive, but it's not easy to choose, particularly when some of their clubs are bumping up their prices a lot, aware that we need these players and that we also have money to spend. And as we know, we're going to be building our midfield around Paqueta. And if we're signing central midfielders, the big question is which combination would be best? And not only that, but how likely is it that we can sign not just one of our targets, but 2 of our chosen targets if we need them to work in partnership? So there's a lot to consider. There's a lot going on. And as we've all seen a billion times, until you actually get a player over the line, anything can change at the last second. So getting a pair that have to come almost together for it to work is risky and difficult, but definitely not impossible. So here's hoping that we can start to make some progress there. Let us know in the comments, though, who you think would complete that midfield trio and give us the best chance of doing well next season. Up second, Matt Smith from the Give Me Sport team has said that Saints captain James Ward-Prowse will not play against Bournemouth tonight. This obviously adds to the speculation that a deal is getting closer with West Ham, but I don't think we should get carried away because there are also rumours that it's a precautionary measure following a knee injury and that he will in fact be playing again for Southampton in their following game. Reports have been released saying that we have made a £25 million bid for the talented set-piece taker. Sky Sports News' Rob Jones also reported this afternoon that West Ham have indeed held positive talks, whatever that means, with Southampton about James Ward-Prowse, and that an agreement is edging closer. He also said that they don't expect personal terms to be a problem, which is great to hear. So it sounds as though we are making progress, but as we've learned, like I said, nothing is certain until it's set in stone. So much can happen, so many things can change with the deal, and players can change their mind last second. James Ward-Prowse obviously has great leadership, which is something we could definitely do with adding back into the team following departures of people that are leaders and have been at the club a while. He's obviously fantastic with his set piece taking, as we all know, and he's a solid midfielder. Personally, I feel that to make an accurate judgment on how good the defensive side of his game is, I actually need to watch a lot more of him playing or chat to some Southampton fans. But there is no denying that he would definitely bring a lot to the squad. What are your thoughts on the Southampton captain coming to East London? Let us know. And for your third story, to make matters even more confusing, different in the knows are telling us different things. So that's obviously what we rely on to get our news, to understand what's happening and to get sneaky little insights into whether we're likely to sign someone or not. I haven't known it very often, where usually reliable in the knows are all saying completely different things. So Jacob Steinberg said that West Ham actually made an offer for Conor Gallagher last week for £37 million plus add-ons, and that Chelsea rejected that offer, with West Ham not willing to go any higher. He also said that there was some surprise within West Ham at suggestions that we have bid 42 million plus 5 million add-ons, suggesting that that's not adding up. Meanwhile, Fabrizio said this morning that Chelsea have actually rejected our bid of 40 million plus add-ons for Conor Gallagher. And apparently this was discussed internally at Chelsea as well as with Pochettino before rejecting. He said that we do remain interested, but that Chelsea want at least £50 million for Gallagher. Now, when I went onto Twitter and asked people what they would actually be willing to pay for Gallagher and what they think is a reasonable price, about 25 to 30 mil was pretty much the maximum that most people were saying. The odd person saying 40, 45, 50. I think the challenge we've got is that they know that we need someone in this position. They don't necessarily have to sell him, especially to us. And people know that we now have budget to play with. In the same way that we said to Arsenal, they'll pay what we want if they want him enough. I think that may well be happening to us to an extent, where Chelsea is saying, if you want Gallagher, you'll pay what we're asking. So it obviously goes around. We've seen it happen at many clubs when you do come into money, that it becomes a lot harder to be in a strong position to negotiate. I'm not sure how well that actually goes with the scattergun approach that we're currently implementing, because it probably doesn't give you as much strong negotiation power. But the big question is, which in the know is correct? Basically, it's impossible to know. So we're just going to have to wait and find out what happened. So there we have our headlines for today. Lots of verbal agreements, and it sounds as though we're looking at all inquiries and then seeing which offers are worth it most before we place those official bids. Time is ticking, so we definitely need to get a move on. I'm getting scared. You're probably getting scared. It's very scary. While we still do have more than a month before the transfer window closes, we don't want to be missing out on the best targets. We don't want to be missing out, especially on the best targets, and letting them go to our rivals and strengthening their sides. And we don't want to be stringing along these negotiations any longer than we need to. So one of the biggest talking points actually surrounds whether a transfer committee of David Moyes, Tim Stuyton, David Sullivan and Mark Noble is making it almost impossible to align on which players we should make our priority, because they've all got very different opinions. Whether that's true or not behind the scenes will be seen. But if you haven't already, make sure you check out Anton's video from this morning about the verbal offers that we've made for a deeper look into all of the action. Give this video a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed as well. We would always appreciate that. And let us know, most importantly, how you're feeling about the latest updates. Are you happy to hear that conversations are happening for so many players? Or is it ringing alarm bells that we are casting our net too wide? Let us know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching. Great to chat with you all. Have a lovely day. And until next time, come on, you Irons.